What's up, Oh, there you are. What's up, Notification Squad? It's Friday, the week is over, the weekend's here, and it's time, as always, for YouTuber news. Take it away, Benedict Townsend. Thanks, me. I don't know why you said my name like that. Colleen Ballinger has had her baby. It's been revealed that Facebook tried to bring down Vine. Gabby Hanna became a meme, and then made merch out of her meme, and then got in trouble for making merch out of her meme. Long week. And of course, it's the return of Dan How Watch. All this, plus maybe I was the monster that's been here all along. On this week's edition of YouTuber News, the video news service from WeTheUnicorns.com, the only website that knows who Joe Sugg is. And I'm not telling. Our first story, Colleen Ballinger has given birth to a baby boy. Congratulations, Colleen. The creator posted a picture of herself in hospital, ready to do a birth, complete with her phone and a Starbucks on hand. What an absolute lad. Not much is known about the baby boy just yet. We don't know his name, although Colleen did tweet that he's, quote, perfect. Although she is a little bit biased. I'm just kidding, guys. All children are beautiful. Except for my son, Tavin, who is decidedly average looking. I'm sorry, Tavin. Try harder. Fans have been speculating as to what the baby may be named. They've guessed Tristan, William, and a couple of them think it might be Mirando, after fellow YouTuber Miranda Sings, who coincidentally, pure coincidence, also happened to be pregnant this year. I don't know if they even know each other, but she was pregnant as well. Now, Mirando is not a name, but then again, my name's Benedict, so I can't really call out anyone for having a silly name. It's kind of amazing how much clout this baby is being born with. I mean, this baby, before he was even born, was more famous than most of us will ever be. I mean, he's already had his first kiss, and it was with Ariana frickin' Grande. Talk about thank you next, am I right? Is that what that means? I don't know what that song means. I haven't heard it. Colleen, from all of us here at YouTuber News, From me, congratulations on the new baby, and good job on the baby. All right, next story. Our second story. Look out, it's the Zuck! Oh, damn. That Zuck, he'll get ya. Yes, some newly released documents as part of a lawsuit have revealed that Facebook took deliberate steps to try and limit Vine, in case you needed another reason to dislike Facebook. It's a bit of a long story, but if I were to make that long story short, it would be thus. On the day that Vine launched, it originally had some Facebook capabilities built into it. So you could find your Facebook friends on Vine, and it was a way of adding people on Vine. A lot of apps have this. Now, Facebook was aware that Vine was launching, and they saw it as a threat, so they deliberately cut all those functions out of Vine. They said, you know what, you can't use any of our Facebook functions because, you know, get lost you. I can't swear on this show, but they said something along the lines of get lost you. And this was even signed off by Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. The Zuck! Frickin' Zuckies everywhere. This was even signed off by the old Zuck himself. Someone emailed him and said, unless anyone raises objections, we will shut down their friends' API access today, which is a nerd way of saying, we're gonna get them. And Zuck replied, yup, go for it. Because Mark Zuckerberg doesn't say yep, like a normal person, he says yup, like a dweeb. It's an interesting contrast between Facebook, which is not exactly the most popular site at the moment, and Vine, which is more and more being lauded as the greatest thing that ever existed on the internet. And if there's any lesson you need to take away from today's episode, don't come for Vine, because people will come for you. Amen. Our third story, maybe I'm the monster that's been here all along. Not my words, but the words of Gabby Hanna, as she screamed and broke most of Genius's video equipment. Yes, it's been an interesting week or so for Gabby Hanna, who released a song called Monster a little while back, and then did a video about the lyrics of that song on Genius, where she decided to not simply read out the lyrics, but to sing them at full pelt. And there was one particular section of the song where she says, maybe I was the monster, been here all along, where she sang it very largely, in a very impassioned way, shall we say. Apparently actually literally broke a microphone in the process. And it was so impassioned that it became a meme. And then Gabby, you know, always enterprising, said, literally, when life gives you lemons, make merch. So she made merch out of the meme, and then people got mad at her for making merch out of the meme. The internet is so tiring, and nothing matters. The reason she's getting backlash is quite brutal. You see, a lot of people liked the meme because they really wanted to make fun of her and try and hurt her feelings. And of course, by making the merch, she's trying to sort of reclaim the meme and make it hers. And people are saying, no, 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 no. This isn't about you. This is about being very mean to you, and you shouldn't feel good. You should actually feel bad. You know, which is not great. There was also a bit of contention because she based her merch design on a drawing that someone had done on social media, and she sort of kind of copied it and then put it on merch and started selling it, and everyone was like, well, don't you want to credit the original person? And she's like, but I drew it. And it's like, yeah, but it's the same as the thing the other person drew. But then that person has tweeted that they're fine with it now. Well, they didn't really seem fine with it. They just said, I'm tired of talking about it, let's just leave it, which, you know, doesn't seem like the happiest of endings, but I guess no one's getting sued. For now, I've got to say, at the end of the day, I do admire her enterprising spirit, you know? She saw a situation and she said, I could make some coin out of that. And here's the merch, and would you cop it, bro? Would you be copping this merch? This merch, bro, do you think you'll cop? In terms of this merch, do you think you'll be a person who'll be copping it? And if you are copping it, will it be this? And will it be this merch, bro? And bro, this merch? Perhaps copping for you? Let me know in a Club Penguin message, just leave it on one of those signs and I'll bring my penguin round and read what you have to say. Now it's the time in the show where I tell you what a certain YouTuber got up to this week. Now, last week, and I think the week before as well, I was telling you about Dan Howell, and a lot of you enjoyed that. But we really do want to get a little bit more variety in this show and talk about, you know, a broader spectrum of YouTubers. We can't just talk about Dan Howell every week. That's ridiculous. So I've come up with a computer program that automatically generates, randomly, a bunch of YouTubers' names, and I'm going to just activate that now. There we go, beep boop. And this will generate a name of a YouTuber that I will talk about. It is Dan Howell. It's Dan Howell. I didn't even put his name into the program. I don't know how that's... I guess we're doing Dan Howell Watch. It's time for Dan Howell Watch. Welcome to Dan Howell Watch. I'm Mirando Ballinger. What's Dan been up to this week? Well, it was the time of year where Dan has his annual Christmas party, where he gets together with everyone he works with and boogies into the night. Now this year, everyone that Dan works with was going to be at the Christmas party. Phil Lester, everyone was going to be there, and it was set to be the best one yet. So Dan got to the venue, he got in okay, even though the bouncer said to him, oh, you look a little bit young, son. He said, I promise I'm a grown boy. He said, okay, you, and did that thing where he like nuzzled him on the head, and Dan was like, get off, man. And then he went inside and he met Phil, and he said, Phil, so great to see you at the party. I didn't even know you were coming. And Phil was like, we live together, Dan, we got ready together. You knew I was coming to this party. And Dan said, okay. Anyway, the night went on, they had a bit of a boogie, they had a bit of a drink, but then all of a sudden, Phil went to the toilet. He was like, oh, excuse me, I've got to go to the toilet, and disappeared. And Dan was like, all right, dancing away to Mambo number 5. And all of a sudden, who should come around the corner but Father Christmas himself? Oh my gosh! I forgot what he sounds like. Oh my gosh, said Dan. It's Father Christmas. Where's Phil? He's gonna miss Father Christmas. But Phil was nowhere to be seen. There was only this Father Christmas character. But actually, if you looked in Father Christmas's eye, there was a certain familiar twinkle, and his hair looked a little bit fringy. And Dan thought, wait a minute, is that my friend Phil? But it wasn't! It was a criminal! It was a criminal dressed as Santa, and he had a sword! He had a goddamn sword, and he tried to get Dan, and Phil came out of nowhere and he hit him with a Hanna. He hit him with a hammer, and he killed him. He killed the criminal. Phil's in court now. It's out of control. This has been Dan Howell Watch. Great episode of Dan Howell Watch, really blisteringly realistic, confronting, but educational. Everything you want out of a DHW. Well, now it's the time of the show where I do a question, and it's the question of the week. And last week, what? Last week I asked you a question of the week, as I do every week, and a whole load of you answered, and I want to thank you for doing that, and just for watching in general, for commenting and liking and all that stuff. It's very kind of you. You don't have to do it, but actually, maybe you do. But only one person got the correct answer to last week's question, and that person was... never get this ready ahead of time. The correct answer came from Zoe, who said the answer was strong lad. And that was the correct answer, and I do remember what the question was, and that was the answer. And some of you may be groaning because it was a bit of a trick question, and you did have to do a little bit of calculation, and we did have to carry a 1, and there was a 1 that needed to be carried, but the correct answer was in fact strong lad. So congratulations, Zoe. I think it might be Zoe Sugg. You win this week's prize, a lifetime supply. Now it's time for this week's question, which comes from me, Benedict Townsend. Take it away, please. Thanks. This week's question's kind of simple. Is there anything that Shane Dawson can't do? I mean, honestly, guys. I mean, try and answer this question. And I'll read the correct answer next week. I'm Benedict Townsend. This has been YouTuber News, which airs every week here on YouTube and also now on Snapchat. Don't forget you can watch it on Snapchat Discover. The best way to get the show right here on YouTube is to hit subscribe, and maybe you have to click a bell, I don't know, and then you get brand new episodes delivered to you if YouTube wants to put them in your sub feed, which often it doesn't. So there's like an extra mini game involved in this, which is see if you can find the episode. I mean, it will always be on the We the Unicorns YouTube channel by Saturday regardless. If you enjoyed today's episode, only if you've enjoyed it, it'd be nice if you could hit like. That does genuinely help out the show, algorithmically and stuff. If you have any comments to make, provided they're positive only, leave them down below. Constructive criticism is still criticism, guys, and I don't accept it. I actually don't accept it. Praise is preferred. I'll be back next week where we'll have more YouTube news, another episode of Dan How Watch, and our political correspondent Jojo Siwa will be in the studio explaining the ramifications of a hard Brexit. Really looking forward to that. But until then, have a wonderful week. Thank you, and good night. Finn?